mentored and trained over 1,000 coaches. And I'm telling you, that is the number one running theme. Now, maybe after we stop working together, we can be friends. But in this relationship, you're not hiring me to be your friend.
Usually I start these things with a quote. And today I have, coach is someone that sees beyond your limits and supports you to greatness, Michael Jordan. And I think Sophia Casey would be fantastic to speak on that subject. Now, Sophia is a master certified coach, a USA Today Top Transformational Coach 2023, Best America's Gold Award winner, a best-selling author, and founder of ICLI Rising, empowering coaches globally and ensuring they rise with knowledge, integrity, and deep sense of inclusivity. Sophia, how are you today?
Thank you. I love that introduction. I'm doing great now, no matter how I was before that introduction. Thank you. I'm feeling grateful to be here with you.
That's amazing to hear. Now, today, it's not going to be the usual conversation about why to get a coach, how to get a coach. It's more on going deeper on that subject. What does it really mean? How it's on the other side? What are the coaches? What are they experiencing? And those things. And before we go into all of those things, walk me through the journey. Where did it start for you, and how do we get here today?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, I now can say that what I was doing in my 9 to 5 job many times was coaching, but I didn't have that title. Coaching still is coaching, actually formal coaching, or as defined by the International Coaching Federation, is only 30 years old. In fact, we're celebrating year 30 this year. So I didn't know that it was called coaching. And the way that I got brought into this wonderful world that I love so much is a sorority sister of mine. I just noticed some changes in her. I'm like, what are you doing? Like something's up. I noticed like some positive changes, and not just in terms of like what she was doing in her life or her career, but just how she was showing up in the world. I'm like, what are you up to? Something's different. And she said, okay, I'll tell you, I'm working with a coach. She connected me with that coach. Literally a few minutes into the conversation with him, I hired him. I was like, oh my gosh, because I was blown away by not just what I was able to get done, like the doing side, but I was blown away by how much I discovered about myself in such a short amount of time, and discovered about how I was stopping myself and sabotaging myself. So I hired him right away. And then he introduced me to coach training, which is my first love.
Okay, now it feels like there is a process that once you go through working with a coach, the outcome might be transformational for you, or you might see like, okay, I might do this for other people, and I want to become a coach. What are the first steps that someone should take if they go through this experience? They're like, you know what, I really want to become a coach, and I want to empower and help people. What are the first steps they should be thinking of doing?
Yeah, so if they've gotten to that point of saying like, oh my gosh, I'm really curious about this. I think I want to do this as a career, as a profession. I would strongly encourage them to get some type of formal training, whether that's just a 1 day glimpse into coach training, what coaching is and what coaching is not, or to really dive deep, as we do in our coach training school, around what coaching is and coaching is not, and what the actual coaching core competencies say that we should be doing as coaches. I would definitely encourage them to get some type of formal training. I also would encourage them to go hang out with formally trained coaches too. So join some communities where they're already certified and credentialed coaches there, and ask them about their journeys. In our coach training school, I always love to have previous graduates or more experienced coaches come to class and like give the real story around this whole work of coaching, and not just the coaching part, but the business side of it too.
The business side of it, yes, the business side. At the end of the day, it will become a business. So you go with the right intentions, but at the end of it, it has to be a business so that you can empower and help the most people that you possibly can. When you're talking about formal training, it sounds like, at least I will say for me, how I've seen it. After the pandemic, that kind of became not really a main topic. It was like anybody can just say it, or they would kind of classify themselves and became a mystified thing. So, what is a formal training or a certification or any of those things? How does that look like? What is the difference of that versus just talking with someone and saying, I can just do it today?
And that's the thing, because the industry is not regulated, right? So anyone can wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm a coach and I have a coaching business and, hang out their sign outside. And I have no judgment about that, right? Because that's how I started. I'm like, I declare like I am a coach right before I went into formal coach training. The thing that I say is the biggest difference is a lot of the coaches we see on the internet, right? Because like you said, with the pandemic, it just like, I don't even know, quadrupled or something more than that. It quadrupled and quadrupled and quadrupled in terms of the number of people who went into coaching. The biggest difference I find is that the coaches who have not received formal coach training, especially from an ICF accredited coach training school like ours, most of what they're doing is actually consulting. And that's fine. I'm a consultant also. But mostly what they're doing is that they're telling people what to do. Like, hey, hire me, Zivko, and I'm going to make you a best-selling author in 60 days. I'm going to coach you to your greatness of an author, of being an author. And mostly that is consulting. And that's why I'm always encouraging people to get formal coach training so that they learn, yes, I can actually be a consultant too, like I am. But if I'm coming from coach and I'm supporting you, I'm relating to you as having the answers, you as naturally resourceful, and I'm there to support you and maybe helping you see some blind spots or what's stopping you from being your greatness.
Right. So it's the easy one that we can detect when we're talking with someone is if it sounds like consultations, if it's strategies, implement this checklist, 12 days, 30 days to this, that is more like a consultation, which has its purpose and it's pretty good. A formal coaching training is more kind of guiding, but in the sense of like transformational outcomes, where you see the
Yeah.
person as you have the resources, you're resourceful, and I'm here to help you transform to get to the best version of yourself, not really like consulting and here's a checklist of achieving these things. Um,
And from time to time, I work with primarily senior managers, executives, C-suite executives who come into the relationships like, I need you to tell me what to do, right? I need to improve the bottom line for this corporation. And so as a coach, I certainly can ebb and flow inside of coach, consultant, but with the client's awareness and with their full permission to do so. Yeah.
Got it. So everybody's on the same page of what's really happening, and no one is I wouldn't say misled, but you hired a coach, you didn't hire a consultant, and they can tell you like this will be consulting, this is coaching, and we can go between when it's necessary. Now, that feels like a good move to my next question, which is myths about being a coach. Let's demystify some things because, like you mentioned, there is a good differentiation between a consultant and a coaching, so we're good with that. What are some other myths that people have when someone just mentioned it and they start looking for a coach?
Yes. One of the biggest is what I just tapped into is that coaches are experts at your life. Like they're experts in so many different areas, so much so that they can actually fix your life and tell you what to do. Um, Another myth is that, and I would say underneath that myth is this belief that you're broken, right? So if I'm saying to you, I'm the expert, I'm coming in to fix you and solve all your problems, then I'm relating to you as not capable of doing that and that there's something broken or wrong. Um, I would definitely say that's a big one. Another myth that a lot of new coaches actually have is that they have to be experts in certain areas and have, come to the table with this wealth of knowledge from all these different industries. And, I work with a lot of and have worked with a lot of IT executives. And what I say all the time to our coach training students is, I know how to turn my computer on. I know how to turn it off. I know how to go on Zoom. I know how to do a few things to navigate, my life and my work. but I don't know very much about cloud computing and mainframes and servers. So one of my clients, my previous clients, was the equivalent of like the third or fourth person in charge at Hewlett Packard. What could I tell him about information technology that he already didn't know? So I wanted to make sure that when we went into our relationship as coach client, that he understood that I am not an IT expert, but I am an expert at this thing called coaching. I'm an expert at being able to listen. I sometimes say it's like I have a third ear. I'm listening with my third ear around what you're saying and what you're not saying. I'm an expert at asking you powerful questions that may give you more awareness and discovery and insight and have you pondering and thinking. I'm an expert at a whole lot of things, but I don't have to be an expert in your industry.
Yeah, and it's a good way of kind of demystifying that, because if you ask the right questions and if you have, like you mentioned, that third ear in essence, you're you're allowing the person to discover things that they never thought of. And that is the journey they started. And then something else, and they're like, aha, because of these things that I've always felt, but no one has asked me that question in that way, this is opening my mind to something different. And that is the transformational experience versus what we mentioned, like a consultant. Okay, Jimmy, go through the and you will become fantastic at HP. And that is not what a coach would.
Absolutely. Like I was just thinking about one of my previous clients was like literally a marketing genius and works for a company that you use every single day. I am not a marketing genius, although people who follow me on social media think that I am, but it, it's not my zone of genius. And I don't have to be an expert at marketing and able to understand how to support that client with leadership, which is why she came to me. She wanted to be supported around her leadership, strengthening her leadership skills, communicating more effectively with her team, and also getting promoted. And we were able to support her. She was able to create all of that working with me, not
And
because I was a marketing expert, though.
and that is the main goal of a coach. It helps you to achieve those goals, but not really pushing in that direction. It's more through a transformation, through asking questions, through helping you for a self-discovery, breaking through limiting beliefs, and
Yeah.
the whole process. You achieve it, and it's yours. You will say, "I had a coach along the way to be there to support me."
That is it. And what I say all the time to, new coaches is you get to celebrate also, like, right? You get to take some credit for it, but the main credit goes to that client, that coachee, because they are actually creating it. And the way that I get to celebrate it is, many times, and most times, when we're wrapping up our coaching work, my clients are like, "Oh, can I write a testimonial for you? Can I refer people to you? Like, this has changed my life." So they're so excited about their lives being changed. Of course, they're going to bring you into that celebration.
Of course. Now, when we have when we have a new person that is a coach, and they're going through this, and they're hearing and saying, okay, I understand that I have to get certification, otherwise I'm just a consultant. Which, if you want to be that, great. But if you want to say that you're a coach, the right thing to do is to get a certification. Then you kind of laid out some of the myths that people might have, so they don't fall into any of these traps. They don't go in any of those wrong directions. Now they're sitting and they're talking with you, they're going through some of your courses. What are some of the first limiting beliefs you see when someone wants to be a coach?
That they have to be an expert. They have to be. I'm telling you, the the thinking, the mindset that I have to be an expert, I have to be perfect, and I have to have my life all together. Like, how else could I be a life coach or a transformational coach or an executive coach if, my life isn't perfect or I don't have all of my dreams haven't been realized? I would say those are the biggest myths coming in the door that I hear constantly. I mentor a lot of coaches. I've mentored and trained over 1,000 coaches. And I'm telling you, that is the number one running theme across demographics. I don't geographic, race, gender, all of it is that that belief that they have to be perfect and they have to be experts and they have to have their lives completely pristine in order to be able to support someone else. And what I share all the time is that belief, that's a cerebral belief, right? That's coming from the brain, like, oh, I have to have all this intellect. And I just challenge them all the time to drop into their heart. If I can connect with a person, certainly cerebrally, right? Brain to brain. But if I connect with a person that way and heart to heart, like what they can create in that incubator, if you will, it's unmatched. It is unmatched. It's what I'm addicted to.
And
Yeah.
from that experience, it feels like the when a new coach is going through this and when they're talking with their first clients, they should go for not just the logical, like you said, the cerebral. You also go for a heart to heart. And if you don't have your life together, that is what brings you on the same level because you're someone that is going through a journey. They're going on the journey. You have some insights that they need, and that's why it would be kind of like a perfect match. That we're all humans, therefore no one is perfect. And if you pretend to be the perfect human, then that actually kind of remove some of that credibility. How can this person be so perfect and sitting here in coaching?
Absolutely. And this I'm so glad I finally got this. Like when I first became a coach, I was like all the other coaches, like, oh my gosh, nervous and in performance. And I gotta know all of this. I gotta learn all the tools and the techniques and so that I'm ready. I have to have the perfect list of questions. So when Zimko asks me something or he starts to talk about podcasting, I gotta be ready with that perfect question or that perfect answer or that perfect suggestion. When I finally learned that it's not about me. Now, my Leo lioness self was like, that's a blow to the ego. What was not about me? No, it's not about you. Do your job as a coach, which is to co-create this safe space for this person to share freely, ask powerful, open-ended, mostly questions, make some reflections, keep track of what they say they want in their lives. That's your job, right? When I finally got that, I was like, OMG. Wait, let me make sure I got this right. So they're doing the work. I'm there to help co-create that space for them to feel free to do that work. And I get paid for that? Sign me up. I'm like, sign me up for this career.
And if when someone is overcoming these hurdles, they're in on the journey, they're with you, they overcome some of these journals, the limiting beliefs that they might have, and they're going to the next phase, which you kind of touched upon. A lot of people would mention, even people that are on YouTube, the imposter syndrome. How does that develop with someone?
It's understandable that so many of us have experienced or currently experiencing imposter syndrome. I even go in and out of it myself, having, been a coach for over a decade and a half, and I still am confronted by like, oh, do I really belong here? Do I have enough expertise to be in this room? And it's understandable because the majority of our societies, like no matter where you are in the world, many places applaud us and give us accolades for performing. Right? We learn from when we're we little tots and we go to school. Right? Prior to going to school, how are we and how are we showing up? We're showing up curious. I want to know what this is. We're showing up heart to heart connected with people. And then we go to school and it's like, jump higher, jump higher, jump higher. Be better than that other person. Jump higher than them. Oh my gosh, Sophia, you jumped the highest. Yay. So we are given praise and accolades and sometimes love for performing. And now I introduce you to this whole other profession that says you do not need to perform because it's not about you. So your greatest superpower as a coach is to be nosy, to get curious about what's going on over there for that other person. Your other superpower is to be able to connect with somebody heart to heart and show them authentically who you are also, and that you're not perfect. Like, that's a big shift. It's huge. So it's no wonder that people feel, they come into the coaching world, or they step into conference rooms and they're like, I'm not sure I belong here. I'm not smart enough. I hear all the time coaches say, who's going to work with me? I just finished coach training. I literally just graduated last Saturday. And in our coach training program, I'm so proud of this too. We have coaches start coaching day one. We support them and challenge them to get hired day one of training, not waiting till they have that piece of paper in hand. Because what they need to be effective coaches, they already walked in the door with. I said, I'm not going to give you your tuition back, but let me tell you something. You already have what you need to be a phenomenal coach. All we're doing in this class is we're adding tools to your toolbox. That's all. That's all I'm doing. And giving you some feedback around your coaching and how you are showing up as a leader and how you're showing up in the world. That's all. And we're just darn good at it.
And um, it's interesting you say, because for you, the way you say it, it's natural. It's very it's just kind of part of your aura and everything that you do. How do you combat? I shouldn't say combat, but what happens when you give someone feedback they didn't want to hear and they're like stuck up? They're like, I did not like that.
It's happened several times. It's happened several times. And I also will say it is why people hire me again and again and again and go tell their family members about the experience of working with me as a coach. It's why they go tell their managers and the CEOs of their companies, hey, you need to bring that lady into this company because you all could use some support. It is, it's because I'm willing as a coach to say what there is to say what my intuition says there is to say. Remember, because I'm connected with you. I've been working with you, I've gotten to know you. I've gotten to know your seduction strategies of how you're like, Coach Sophia, look over there. Look over there. Don't ask me about what's here. Keep looking over there. We have people in our lives who do that, right? We have people who will say, you know what, I know you're tired. Don't write that next chapter of the book, even though you've been talking about it for 26 years. It's okay. Just go to sleep. We have people in our lives because they love us. They don't want to see us in pain. They don't want to see us stretching outside that comfort zone that doesn't look so pretty to do so. So yeah, I've had a lot of clients who didn't like what I put into the conversation. The thing to remember as a coach is to be okay with them not liking. Like, can you be okay with that? You maybe you even offer a suggestion, or maybe you offer a reflection, say, hey, I noticed, Carol, you've been talking about this specific action for the last 4 coaching sessions. What I also notice is that you haven't accomplished that goal. What's coming up for you? And let's say Carol's reaction is like, what? Well, I've had all this other stuff going on, and like, you're fired, right? As coach, can I be with that? Can I be with the emotions, whatever they are? Can I be with it? And the answer is yes, I can, because I have been phenomenally trained in the transformational work of coaching that says Carol's reaction is not about me. Carol's reaction is about Carol. And this container called coaching may be the only time Carol has experienced someone standing for her 10 toes down, unmovable, relentless about Carol having what it is she told me she wanted. I've said it many times to my clients. I'm just standing here relentless about you having what you want. Yet this is what I recognize is happening right now. What do you make that to mean? What do you see to take on? What's next for you around this? Is any of this resonating with you? Right? All those were just open-ended questions, right? And I can be okay with my client saying, nope, Sophia, you're off track. Okay, got it. Moving on. Where would you like to go next? It's not personal to me. But what is personal for me is for me to do my job, which is why you hired me, to be relentless about supporting you with you having what you said you wanted and you being your highest and greatest self. That's why you pay me.
And in those cases, in those sometimes heated moments, um, it sounds like you're reflecting that it's their reaction to not achieving what they wanted. It is not really the question that I asked or that I, maybe pushed a button. It's they kind of feel it. They knew what was happening. I brought it up again, and their reaction is more reflective. It's not really personal. It's more their anger with themselves at the same time. But not really to me because I asked the question, and that might be the thing they need to overcome the obstacle and then continue working together.
Absolutely, because they're friends, they're siblings, they're coworkers. Everybody, they have many times our clients have, we as humans, we create this village around us, right? That supports what we say, supports what we don't say, supports our shenanigans year after year after year after year, right? They love us. They don't want to see us in pain or agony of stepping outside a comfort zone. And what I share with my clients is like, I'm not your friend. Now, maybe after we stop working together, we can be friends. But in this relationship, you're not hiring me to be your friend. You're not hiring me to be your partner or your spouse. You are hiring me to be as off the court as possible. I know we were talking about sports earlier, as off the court as possible, so that maybe I can get a clue about what's stopping you, what's in the way, or at least get curious about those things. And then maybe make those reflections or ask you about those things.
Got it. And we're understanding that you should go deep with your clients. So some like a coach is going through a program and they get to this lesson that you clearly show them they have to be able to go deep with their clients. Otherwise,
Yes.
it's just kind of surface level, doesn't really solve or help them through the transformation. What are some of the steps that a coach doesn't matter if they're new or kind of seasoned? What are some of the fastest ways they can erode the trust with their client or their community or online presence?
Oh my gosh, I so love this question. I so love this question. I told you I love coach training, so I love this question. One of the top ways to erode trust with a client is to show up as if you know it all about that client's life. The way to erode trust is to show up as a know-it-all about that client's life. Because what that does is it creates hierarchy. Like I'm here as coach, here you are, right, as client. And what happens is that if I'm acting like I have all the answers, I know it all about your life, I'm giving you all these suggestions, I'm giving you all this advice, then what happens is that this client keeps looking to me. So what happens when I'm no longer working with that client? Now the client like they haven't learned to trust themselves and their ideas and their intuition, right? And their voice of God, whatever that is for them. So as a coach, I want to make sure I'm always checking myself, checking in with the client to make sure we're here. And if there's going to be any hierarchy at all, if there's going to be any hierarchy, then it better be here with the client being at the top and not me. But I'm telling you, that's number one way to erode trust.
And it's easier said than done because you have to have a sense of humility to not be to know that you have answered that you like I've seen the pattern, maybe this is it, but to hold it so that it's a proper transformation.
The humility. OMG. I got goosebumps everywhere. The humility. Are we willing? Are we willing? Because our societies tell us be humble. No, 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 no. You're not going to win being humble. But in this work, you can win by being willing to be humble and to walk into that relationship saying, I don't know it all. Like sometimes in coach training, I say to the students, you know nothing. They're like, wait, what? Excuse me? Have you seen all the acronyms after my name? Right? Because I work with some very, very, very educated, brilliant people, lawyers, physicians, like our coach training students, like run the gamut, educators. And to say to them, you know nothing? Like, what? You only know what the client tells you or what you suspect the client isn't telling you, what your intuition says, and then they validate. That's what you know. That's how you get the knowledge. That's how you become an expert, if you will, in that relationship. But prior to that, all my degrees, I have lots of acronyms after my name. They still don't prepare me for the heart-to-heart transformative work that happens. That's where that humility comes in.
That's right. Now,
Woo!
if someone is taking all the right steps, so they went through the certifications with you, they understand the myths, they overcome some of the limiting beliefs, they understand that you might go in and out of the imposter syndrome is just normal. The ways they can go deep with clients and not have surface level, also trying to avoid eroding that trust with their clients or online, whatever they're promoting themselves. Now they're doing this and it's been some time, and now we go to the, I would say, closer to the last phase, which you already
Mm.
are doing this and it's becoming some sort of a business. What are the obstacles that coaches should expect? What should they be prepared to transform this now into a business?
I tell you, if I could get all the coaches in the world in a room, I would want to just spend a significant time around encouraging them to have structures in place for when they start to show up with shenanigans, when their saboteurs start to tell them, like, you suck, like, who's going to hire you? To have some type of accountability structure in place. For me, those are my coaching communities. For me, those are my coaching besties that I meet with every single week, same day, same time. And we work on our businesses for an hour every single week. To have those type of structures in place, I feel is imperative to be a successful coach. Many coaches are not successful, and I hate this statistic, but most coaches a year out are not even working in their coaching businesses. And it's because of lack of structures, a structure that calls me forth every single day, well, weekday, every single day to work on my business, to be out there talking to people, showing up, having people get to know who I am, right? They have to know, like, and trust you. Well, how are they going to know, like, and trust you if you're not even in places where they are? So I would say to have some type of very structured way to keep working on your business. It's one of the reasons I love masterminding, right? And we're about to actually kick off another masterminding program. I love masterminding because you're sitting there in the hot seat and you're saying to this group of experts and colleagues and coaches, hey, I need some help. This is the truth about what's happening right now in my business, in my life. Help me, right? That incubator, that level of structure, ugh, it's unmatched. It's
Now,
unmatched.
you mentioned a little bit that you do have a mastermind. So I think this is a good kind of segue because you were walking into the steps. Now it is a business. You need to have that support structure. CEOs and co-founders from various industries. I can speak for myself, like in the digital or agency space, let's call it that, or sales. You do meet with your, I call them business buddies. If there's no business, with nothing else, we just talk about business. We're not really, really friends because we have different kind of views and different things, but we're business buddies. We can talk about business 24/7. And those are places where you not only vent, but you start to share like, hey, this is what I saw, the shift in this, and I'm trying it. I'll talk to you in 2 weeks, and I'll tell you if it's panning out what it is, or it is now what was all promised to be. Talk to me more about your mastermind. What is that? How does that look like? What do people do to kind of sign up for it?
A big part of it is what you just said, like just to have a community, right, that you trust to be able to vent. You know, a lot of us don't have communities like that, or don't have people in our lives who we can count on to not judge us, to just allow us to show up unpolished, literally vomiting, right? Out all these complaints and all this, not refined sense of being. And so the wonderful thing about our masterminds is that it is a safe space to just show up as you, to show up real, to be vulnerable. And at the same time, it's a space that's going to hold you accountable, right? That's going to relate to you as capable, that's going to call you forth to actually have what it is that you say you want. And the thing I love about masterminds is that you're surrounded right there in real time with these experts who can help you right then and there, right? Not talk about it, like, or I told my subject matter experts who are participating in this with me, I said, I do not want you to offer done, what is it called? DIY. What does that stand
Done
for?
for you or done with you?
No, it's the one like you go do it yourself. Like I'm gonna teach it to you and then you go do it. I'm like, no, I don't want any of that. I want done for you. DFY. I want done for you. Where literally a coach, let's say it's a coach, and they're like, okay, I'm ready to launch my coaching business. I don't even know where to start. I want a subject matter expert who's an expert at branding to be able to say, here's a whole branding startup kit. You don't have to do it yourself. Work with me. I'm going to create it for you. Like if I had that level of support when I first started, I would not have wasted so many years trying to figure it out myself and wasted a whole lot of money trying buying all these programs and all this stuff. I wouldn't have done it. I would have been able to do the work that I love so much a lot sooner and be able to just focus on my zone of genius, right? Showing up as a coach. I'm good at that, but I'm not great at creating funnels and great at the stuff that you're great at. Like what? Like what is that? I don't even want to be great at that. So I'm so excited about this mastermind program. I've done it many times, and we're about to launch another one in just a couple of weeks. We're actually going to allow people to come in at no cost and just experience it, right? And then they can make a decision on whether or not they want to be a part of our mastermind membership.
Got it. So we are almost out of time. First of all,
Oh, so fast.
tell, tell us first of all how they sign up for your mastermind, and second, if someone wants to work with you or sign up to be a certified coach, how did they do that?
Absolutely. Well, I have several websites and all these social media platforms. The easiest way to get to me is just to go to our coach training school website, which is ICLI rising.com.
Fantastic. Sophia, thank you so much for going deep in all these subjects. I learned a lot. I really did learn a lot, and I have a much better understanding of what you guys do and the fantastic work that you guys do. And it really, I hope that it sets expectations for people that want to do the fantastic work, that they now know the path to start to do it and to stick with it and to pass that year hurdle and to continue to develop as a coach.
Thank you. Thank you for your great questions. I'm just saying, you make a great coach. You have great, powerful, open-ended questions. It was a joy to be with you today. Thank you.